Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's training. I apologize for being a few minutes late. I hit the wrong button and deleted the broadcast. I'm just not very efficient around computers, which should give you some hope because I am efficient at making money. So you don't need to be a computer expert to make money. All you need to do is follow the instructions that I give you, and you will become one of the top online marketers. Okay? That's what this is about. It's not about being able to press the right buttons on your computer. If you can do that, you can avoid a lot of the mistakes that I make. So that's good news for you. What I want you to do, please, if you will, is if you can just let me know that you can hear me and you can see me and that you can see my screen. I'm going to share my screen. If I can get that right. You should now see my screen. So if you can let me know that that is all working as it should be, and we can get started. I been having a very busy time of things. We are making massive changes in some of the programs that I run. Not so much in the programs themselves. We are adding more benefits and changing the look of the websites, and particularly the information and the way that members can access the trainings and the products and things in there. So there's an awful lot going on there, and so I've been very busy with that on top of everything else. So let me just check that the chat section is working. Enable chat box. Okay. And as soon as we start getting a few people letting me know that they are able to see everything and hear everything. Okay. I have a couple of people that have said, yeah, okay, it's working. So we can progress. What we're doing is we've been running a series, and it's been going for 8 weeks. The first week was an overview of the 7 things that are needed to be successful with your online marketing business. And then after that first week, each week we've been taking one of the elements and covering them in greater detail. Obviously, it's not the same great depth that I go into with my VIP students who get daily Skype calls and this sort of thing, but it's enough to get you on the right track. And with the questions and answers that we also have at the end of every session, you can ask me anything you like about what we've been covering, and also any other marketing aspect, and hopefully we can get you making money, because there is no reason why you can't make money online if you attend these webinars. The reason people fail is generally speaking because they don't know where to get the right information. It's all online. Much of the time it's online free, but it's finding it, being able to find it, put it in the right order, put it all into perspective and everything. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to help you, no matter what business you're promoting, no matter what type of business, what company you with. If you're promoting a company business, we are here to help you to make money, to become a master marketer. Really is what this is about. And so that is what we're covering here. There's no pitch. There's very Occasionally there is a product I recommend that I use and it might have an affiliate link, but generally speaking, we're not pitching anything. We're not asking you to buy anything. All we want you to do is to become successful, and that in any niche or element that you may choose. So let's get on with the next slide, if I can do that correctly. Okay, these are the 7 things that we were covering. We covered the 7 things that you've got to master to become an expert marketer making the big money online, the specialist that is making everything. And we started off with mindset, and then traffic, and converting traffic into leads, creating irresistible offers, putting together funnels. Oh, and from last week I promised to have a download for you on the funnels, and I've not done what I had intended to do, but I do have a download for you, and it goes through the 11 points that we covered, so that you'll be able to download that. Once I make the time to put this into a proper format and put it up as an ebook and everything, then I'll provide that for you. But what I've done, I've put the slides covering that into a PDF format, and that's available for you, which is better than nothing. And this week we're covering the email sequence. If we can just go back there, because this is important. 99% of your sales will come from your list, and that is so important, and that is why we've been all about building your list. Leads are the people essentially that have opted in to your list, people that have given you permission to speak to them. And next week we'll be covering the all-important part of sales, of course, turning your leads into customers. And if you want to go back and you want to see the last webinar, this link here, www.sawwp.com/HUSH, will take you to the last webinar, and we usually have there any downloads, or sometimes I play other videos and things, and you'll get those on that page. If you want to go to my YouTube channel, then excuse me just for a minute. If you want to go to my YouTube channel, you'll find it all on there with a lot more stuff as well. And you can get there through the same starting point, www.sawwp.com/YT. So with all that covered, let's get into the next part of the presentation. It was, I think, Stephen Covey that put this into his book, The 7 Habits of Successful People. Start with the end in mind. And it's one of the best pieces of advice you can ever get. So that is so important to you. In everything you do, you've got to have a goal. And then you've got to have a strategy of how to get to that goal. And then you've got to have tactics that break down that strategy into manageable pieces to get you there. And this applies to every aspect of everything you do in life, not just in marketing, in life. And if you do things right enough times, magic can happen. But you have to believe, you have to have that belief within you to make things happen. And we're going to squash a few myths for a start, because I know people expect, when they're new, they expect everybody that opts in to open their emails. And the sad fact is that the normal open rate for most people is between 5% and 10%. So don't expect that if you've got 100 people on your list, you're going to have 100 people reading your emails. If you do, you're doing extremely well. I know people that do get very high open rates. And when we're saying very high, I'm talking about 70%. And that is phenomenal. But most people are going to find that they're only getting 5 to 10%. So if you've got 100 people on your list and 5 open your emails, you've got not a lot of chance of making sales, and it's a numbers game. You've got to build your list. You want thousands and thousands of people on your list. If you've got 100,000 people on your list instead of 100 people, then 5% open rate starts to become impressive, doesn't it? So that's what you've got to think about. And you've got to think about, why should people open your message? Most of the time they opted in to see something that interested them momentarily, or maybe it was a free download and they really didn't have any interest in taking things further with you. So you've got to put yourself in their shoes. Why should they open your message? You've got to give them a reason, a good reason to open your messages. And another thing that I often see is, I see messages that come from people, and it pops up in my box, and it's from Jim or Jack or something. And I've no idea who Jim is. I have no idea who Jack is. I might know many Jims. So it's a good idea to put Jim Brown, provided your name is Jim Brown, of course, rather than just Jim, as the person sending the message. Let people know who you are, who it's coming from. If you think about the emails that you personally open, you probably open emails from people you know, and you don't open emails from people you don't know. So you've got to get into that being a person that's known category. I mean, if you got a brother or your mother sends you an email, you open it. You see it's from your mother and you open it. And you want to be generating the same kind of response to your emails with the people that have opted into your list. But you've got to give them a reason for it. On top of the name, in most email programs nowadays, the first line or the first few lines sometimes of your email are shown as a sort of preview. So you need to make that first line not just the subject. I mean, the subject is very important. You need a good subject in there. You need your name in there. You need a good subject. The subject is like a headline in an ad. And you need that first line as well. The subject, let's see, your name, first of all, catches their attention. If it doesn't, then the subject might. Then the subject's got to be really something good. And following that, that first line has got to be congruent with the subject, in keeping with what they expect from your name, and it's got to give them the desire to read more of the message that's there. So you want to get straight into it with something that is telling them why they're getting that email, what's in it for them. That's what people are interested in. What's in it for them? And click rates. If you've got 100 people on your list, if you're getting 2 people clicking the links in your email, that is probably as good as you're going to get. Unless you're pretty good, you might be getting 5%, but that would be extremely high for most people. If you're getting massive open rates, of course, your click rates are likely to go up. But why should people click your link? You've got to give them a good reason, and you've got to have a good, strong call to action. You've got to tell them what the reason is to click your link, and you've got to say, click it now. Do it now. Click this link now to get this information, or to receive this download, or to get the free offer, or to check out the information I've sent you on losing £10 in 10 minutes, or whatever it may be. You've got to have a strong call to action in there. There's got to be a good reason for them to click that link, because if there isn't, they won't click it. Okay, so those are the reactions that you've got to get from your email. When you send an email, first of all, you've got to get it delivered, and we'll go into that in a bit. Secondly, you've got to get it opened, and thirdly, you need to get your links clicked. And you should always have links in your email. You want to get people into the habit of clicking the links. Each email you send is like a landing page. It's like it's got to grab their attention. And I've talked about the AIDA system or plan, or whatever it's called, I don't know, before, and you'll see it taught by many people. It's older than I am, and that's old. So you need to be, every time you write an email, every time you construct an email, you need to be thinking about it. And what does AIDA stand for? It stands for attention. You've got to grab their attention, ideally with your name. Oh, it's so-and-so writing to me. Let's see what he's got to say. If you don't grab them with your name, your subject line, I'm giving you $1,000 today. Click open now to find out how. Whatever it may be. I mean, you don't want to tell lies, and you're probably not going to be, but I'm just giving you some example of something that might catch somebody's attention. And don't forget that lead-in part. Once you've grabbed their attention, you've got to stimulate their interest enough to continue to, okay, you've grabbed their attention. That first line that they're going to see is going to stimulate their interest. Okay, that looks interesting. I want to read more of it. So they open the email. Excuse me again, just a second. Still have a bit of a cough, so I keep muting my microphone rather than blasting your ears with coughing noises. And then what they opened and the rest of your email has got to create a desire within that person. And finally, having done all that and created that desire, you've got to tell them how they can sate that desire. You've got to have a strong call to action. Okay, this is what you want. It's great. I'm glad you've read this. Now you need to take action by doing this to get that. Okay, it's got to be very strong. The stronger it is, the more clicks you will get. The more clicks you will get, ultimately, the more sales you are going to make. A sales to value ratio. You don't want to be selling people, or you don't want to be blasting them with a buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. Every email. 1 to 5 is a good rule of thumb. 1 sort of salesy email to 5 great value emails. That doesn't mean that your salesy email shouldn't have value in it as well. And I know some email marketers who are very successful that sell with every email. But every email they send out is not just selling, it's got massive value in it as well. So if you can combine value with selling, and if you can learn to do it right, that's fine. But if you're beginning, you probably want to be concentrating on providing value with 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 6 of the emails you send with no real sales pitch in them, and then that other email is going to have the sales pitch in it as well as value, and it's all got to be congruent. It's all got to flow nicely, so that people are happy to open your emails. They don't feel like you're just going to blast them with, oh, buy this, oh, and I've just seen this, buy that one. Oh, I'm selling this one today. Tomorrow I'm selling something else. You know, they're just not going to be bothered. And no matter how good you think you are at crafting that email, put yourself in the receiver's shoes, because even though you may think that your email is very unique, the people receiving your email are probably going to think, oh, this is just the same as the other 100 emails I've received today. Somebody just trying to sell me something. Okay. So what's the sequence for all this? Okay, first of all, you've got somebody's permission. They've opted into your list, and that essentially is a permission for you to communicate with them. They didn't give you permission to send them a sales after sales after sales letter. They gave you permission to communicate with them for whatever they opted in for. So if it was for a free report, okay, free report. You've got to lead on from that and explain why, in addition to this free report, you're going to be sending them emails to try and help them get more of or use the report better or get better results. And all this is very important. Most autoresponders spend a lot of time and money on getting their IP addresses whitelisted so that Google and Yahoo and all the big email providers don't block their emails. So the deliverability for most of them is going to be very similar, and it's usually 85 to 95%. However, that does not stop somebody's email client, whether Outlook or Google or whatever they may be using to receive the emails and read them, or the settings on their domain if they've got webmail and this sort of thing. It doesn't stop them getting blocked there. So you need to initially tell your people, once they've opted in, to whitelist your email address, the email address you're going to be sending them information from. And there are various, if you Google how to whitelist an email or something like that, there are quite a lot of sites that give instructions of how you can give instructions to your contacts on how to whitelist your email, so that you know that it's got the best deliverability rate possible. Early on, also, you want to set the rules and stick to them. What do I mean by that? I mean, you need to tell people, okay, I'm going to be sending you regular emails, probably about once every week or once every day or 2 a day or once every 3 days, whatever it is. Let people know what you plan to do and how often, and then stick to them. If you tell people you're going to send them an email every week and then you start blasting them with stuff 2 or 3 times a day, they're going to get pretty fed up with it. Similarly, if you tell them you're going to send them an email every day and it's 2 weeks in between each email you send them, they're going to start wondering who you are. Who is this guy? I don't remember this. You need to set the rules, tell people what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and you need to stick to those rules. You need to know when to pitch, and what that means is when to offer something to them to solve a problem they have, when to attempt to make a sale. And you do that by feedback, and we'll be talking about that just a little bit, but you need to understand where people are in the system that you've set up. How close are they to getting to know you, to getting to like you, and to getting to trust you? Because if they don't know who you are, they're not likely to buy something from you. If they don't like you, they're going to opt out of your list, and they may even put in a spam complaint, which you don't want, because your autoresponder service is going to measure those. And you need to get them to trust you. So it's know, like, and trust. And you do that through your follow-up sequence. And once you have gained that trust, then is the time that you can start to pitch things to them. Okay, that doesn't mean that you have to wait forever, because you can test it. If you sent them to a page that was about diet information, and you been giving them diet tips for 4 or 5 emails, you can test it with something very low key, in a low key way. You can say, and I found this website that offers great help. I found it very, very useful. Just check it out and see what you think, and let me have your feedback on it. And so you can do that in a very low key way, and that is a good way of starting to develop a relationship of trust. Don't start ramming things down people's throats. Just be very casual about the way that you do these things. And as you develop a better relationship with people, you'll be able to be a bit more direct in your sales approach. The autoresponder, of course, is your key tool. It's the key tool of every marketer, and you need to learn all you can about it. They all differ slightly. I mean, they all send automatic messages and things, and they all store your list information, and they will all have some way of creating a web form, and so on and so forth. I think they all have a way of creating a web form anyway. They should. There's got to be a way for people to opt in. So get to know it. It's like if you bought a new car, you would pick up the manual and have a look through it and see all the bits and pieces and what all the switches did. You need to do the same with your autoresponder. Get to know it and understand it, and in particular, find out how you can segment people. Sometimes you can do it in great depth, and sometimes you may be restricted to by what they've put in forms or custom fields, or geographically, or things like that. But know it, and because if you're sending an email, let's suppose you sent an email that had an offer in it, and you had 5% of your list opened it, and about 2% actually clicked through, and you made some sales. You could send that same offer again by segmenting, not to the same people. Send it to the 95% that didn't open the email, and change the subject line a bit so that it may just pique their interest because they didn't open the first one. You can even put in something, what sometimes works very well is, hey, did you miss this? you know, just something like that. And then you can send the body of the email can be the same. And that way, you know, you'll probably get another 5% opening. So that means that you've now got 10% open rate, but you've done it twice, and you can go on. And if you're getting good responses and you're getting good feedback, feedback can be in various ways. It can be sales, it can be open rates, it can be click-throughs. Then you can keep on with that. But value your list. Don't treat them as pawns, or I don't know. Treat them with respect. Treat them the way that you would want to be treated. Don't go doing list swaps with people just to build up your list, because they're going to get pounded by offers from other people. They're going to be sick of the fact that they've only opted into your list, and all of a sudden they're getting emails from 5, 6, 7, 8 other people. You know, value your list. It's important that you treat them with respect, and it's important that you treat them with respect and as you would want to be treated. What format should your emails be in? There are various formats that you can use. One is a template. These templates can be good for regular newsletters, because people get to recognize them and they say, oh, it's this newsletter again. Like they recognize the top of a newspaper. You know, I've forgotten what they call it now. But the top of a newspaper has their sort of logo and thing on, and people pick that up because they're used to it and they expect it. So we can use a template format for things like that, for newsletters. The other two formats are HTML and plain text. Now, a lot of autoresponders, you need to use HTML to be able to track results. But plain text is often faster to send if you want to send something very quickly, and it also looks more natural. It's the sort of thing that they would maybe get from their best friend or the brother or the father or the mother or whatever. However, you can set up HTML to look like plain text. So that is another option. And as I say, templates are very good for regular things that people are expecting to receive every Monday or whatever. But I prefer, if you're doing broadcasts or little notes, just to send out something very plain looking. Good subject line and a good first line, but in a very plain format. And you'll find that probably will get you good results. A lot of people want the autoresponders to do everything for them. You can't just schedule follow-up emails and hope that you're going to make sales. It doesn't work that way. You might get 1 or 2, but you need to be doing more than that. As I said, you've got to be building that know, like, trust thing. And you do that by using your broadcasts. You have your email sequence. It's in there. It's built in. Bang, bang, bang. But you can send the broadcasts in between those, even on the same day. It doesn't matter. If a piece of news crops up or something just happens that you think it would be good for them to know about, or you've got a special event. I mean, them news events are the same thing, I suppose. Something that you want to just get out to people, you use those broadcasts. You say, hey, it's me again. I know you're getting my regular emails, but I wanted to reach out to you with this because whatever, you know. So send broadcasts out. You need to send broadcasts out as well as just having your follow-up emails. Just scheduled follow-up emails will not get you the results that you want. Here's a few hacks for you. Okay, you need to be talking to the right audience. The people that have opted in, you should know why they've opted in, what it was they opted in for. If you're doing your segmenting and this sort of thing right, then you'll know what they're interested in. So make sure that when you're sending things, it's to people that are going to be interested in what you're sending. Become an interesting person. Talk about yourself the same way that you would to a friend. You know, hey, you know what happened to me the other day? Okay, people are interested in it. Okay, so become interesting. One of the top email marketers online currently is a guy called Shakir Hussain. He's made millions of dollars in about 4 or 5 years. He makes massive amounts of money, millions of dollars a year now. He does it all with, or nearly all, he certainly started and he built everything with emails, just emails. And he talks about everything. He talks about his love life, where he's been, what his family's doing, anything and everything he talks about. And this is a guy that actually sells as well in every email he sends, because he's sending content. He's talking about himself. He's talking about what's going on. He's talking about what's new. He's talking about how to make money. And he's talking about what he's selling. And he makes no bones about the fact that he's selling it. But he's very good. So become interesting. If you're interesting, people will open your emails and they'll start to get to know you. They can't get to know you if you don't open yourself up to them. They'll start to get to know you, and then by knowing you, they'll start to get to like you and trust you. And you can do that as well by segmentation and cultivation through segmenting your list. Who clicked on this? Okay, they're interested in this. This sort of thing. So once you are able to segment people and groups, opted in from different pages, different offers, different things, different niches, whatever, then you can cultivate a relationship within that niche or within that group. And when you are selling, only promote the best. Don't promote rubbish. Don't promote things just because they'll make you a lot of money. Promote things that you believe in. Promote things that you personally use yourself. You don't always have to be, I mean, you don't have to like Mars bars to sell Mars bars, because you know that 90% of the population loves Mars bars. Okay, it's a good product for people that like sweet things like chocolate and caramel and stuff. So you may hate them, but you know that people love them. So it's not essential that you use everything yourself, but you need to know that it's a quality product for what it says it will do. Okay, only promote the best, and usually that'll mean promoting things that you've actually bought and used yourself. Okay, tell stories. This is going back to becoming interesting. Tell stories, but not only about yourself. If you're selling something, tell a story about somebody that bought it and enjoyed it. Stories sell, facts tell, I think is a little thing that people talk about. So tell stories. Treat people with respect. Your email, in effect, is like being invited into their home. If they were inviting you for dinner, how would you treat them? You know, if they said, you know, we've got a new carpet in, take your shoes off, then you would do it because you've been invited into their home. It's their space. So treat them with respect. Think about how you would like to be treated, and do the same to them. Do sell. Make sure that you're not just giving everything away. Do sell. We all need to eat, and people will respect that if you do it in the right way. Be specific about the action you want people to take, even if it's just a value email. Say, you're going to get the best value from this by doing this. Always have a specific action for people to take. A good way to get attention is to serialize subject lines. Run a course or a story, serialize. Why are soap operas so popular? Because there's always something left hanging at the end, and people want to know what's going to happen, who killed somebody, or who's having an affair with who, or who burgled so and so's house, or whatever it is. There's always an element of I want to know the next bit. So you can do that in your subject lines. You can say, this is part 1 of this course, or this story's got 10 parts. It's quite long, so I'm going to break it down for you. And here's part 1, whatever it is. The reason that people got involved in your list is because they had a problem. There was something they wanted to get a solution for. So always look for a way to bring that problem back into light. How are you getting on with being overweight, or how are you getting on with your back pain? How are you getting on with building your model aircraft? How are you getting on with making money online? Whatever it is, bring it back up and then tell a story that agitates it. I was talking to so and so, and he'd been doing this and this and this, and he was having trouble, and he'd not got any results because, and I know that a lot of people suffer in this way, maybe you too, and then you can bring in a solution. So tell your story, which agitates the problem, and then produces a value, which is the solution. The solution is the value. And if the value is big enough, people will take it, provided you give them a way to do it. It's no good saying, he had this massive problem and we solved it by him doing this, and see you next week. Okay, well, how do I do that? How, don't leave people in the dark. How do I do that? How do I get that same solution? You've got to say, you can have the same solution as this person by doing this. Click this link now, and then just enter your information, and you will be sent this report, or you will be logged in, or you will be able to buy, or whatever it may be. Okay. And give them a reason to do it now. People procrastinate. We all do it. It's a dreadful habit. We all do it. It's something we should all be constantly fighting against, procrastination. So give them a reason not to procrastinate. Okay, there are only 5 of these left. So grab one now, because I've just sent this out to my list and they're going to go like hot cakes. Act now, because the price is going up tomorrow. I just thought I'd send you this out because I just got word that the price on this is going up tomorrow. This is the story. This is the value. So you better get it now. Otherwise, you're going to be paying twice as much. Okay? You've got to give them a reason to act now. And that's about it. But I thought I might have missed a slide. Just a minute. Okay, here we go. I must have clicked through 2. Best practice. This is going back to the follow-up sequence. The idea of a best practice autoresponder follow-up sequence, and this is what I touched on another slide. It's not all you need to do. It should still be there, that follow-up sequence. But that is not the best practice. That's ancient history. In fact, if you're still sending out emails based on a time sequence alone, instead of triggered by actual user behavior, you're doing it wrong, 100% wrong. And there are ways that you can do this with an autoresponder, usually a premium autoresponder, premium services, so you can even automate this. If somebody takes this action, if they click on this link, then they get put into this list and sent this email. If somebody opts out of this list, then they are sent this email telling them about another list. If somebody buys this product, they get put into this list and this happens. Whatever the user behavior is, if somebody opens this email, put them into this list because they're interested in this type of subject. And there are ways of doing that automatically with premium services. There is Ontraport, which is pretty expensive, but it's used by a lot of top marketers. ActiveCampaign is one that isn't generally known about by most internet marketers, and it is probably the least expensive of the premium services. They don't particularly look for internet marketers, but they will accept them. Infusionsoft is very good. It's a premium service. It's one that I use. I can't remember how much it is now, but I think your first month is Ontraport and Infusionsoft similar prices. I think they're both about $2,000 or something for your setup, and then you're probably going to be paying $200-300 and up per month. So they're not for starters, but what starters can do, if you have a Weber as your autoresponder, AW Pro Tools is very useful for you. It's something that allows you to use a Weber in an upgraded fashion, and it's not overly expensive. I can't remember how much it is, but you can do a Google search on it and check it. And so think about how you can do this, and you need the tools to be able to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be spending a lot of time going through your reports, going through tracking things to see what results were, and then manually doing things. Okay, so as I say, we missed that slide. I thought I got that slide in there somewhere. So we're into questions and answers if we've got any. If we haven't, that's fine. We've been on for about 50 minutes. I know I was late and I apologize for that. So if there are no questions, and we don't seem to have any at the moment, Trish has just asked a question about can you segment people by sex, because I know she does a lot of sales that are targeted particularly at women, and yes, you can. Usually you can have a custom field in your autoresponder that segments people into sex, and you can then target a particular sex. You know, if it's ladies' dresses, most men aren't going to be interested in that. Okay, they might buy one for the wife, or they might have funny tendencies, I don't know. But generally speaking, you want to be aiming that at your female market. One of the hot products at the moment, Venus weight loss system for women, is targeted purely at women. You don't want to be sending that particularly to men. You want to be sending it out to women. So yes, you can do that, and there are ways of doing that in most autoresponders. If somebody's opted into a Venus thing, then you know that they're probably female. If you're putting an extra custom field in, male or female, it's going to cut down your response. But if you need to know that demographic, then it's useful. It's a question of what value will that have for you. Okay, so if that's the only question, it's now 5 to 2, and I can get back to helping my personal members out and coaching my VIP students. So I hope that's been useful for you. God bless you, and you should get, if you want to view this again, you should get an email with the link to view it again. But also, if you go to, let's just find that again for you, if we can. Where are we? We know it's up at the top somewhere. Oh, by the way, I put that download in as a pop-up. It will be on the Hush page here. World Wide Web, sawwp.com/hush. That will be a replay of this webinar, and I will put that download up on there as well. And if you want to see the previous ones, you will find them on my YouTube channel, but you'll have to search through a lot of other a lot of other videos that are on there as well. But you might find it interesting channel, www.sawwp.com/YT. Once you're there, you can subscribe and you'll get notified every time there's a new video published on there, and you'll be able to check it out and leave comments, say I hated it or I liked it or whatever. Okay, thanks for your time. Love you all. I hope that's been useful, and I look forward to seeing you same time next week. God bless.